would you mind starting? Okay. Hi. Do you want to start by introducing yourself? So, college, what subject do you study? What year are you in?
Yes, I've just finished my first year at Oxford and I study history and Spanish at Hertford College.
Okay, so when you were applying to Oxford, what made you choose Hertford as a college?
Well, I kind of was kind of unsure about what college to pick. There's so many and it's quite difficult to narrow them down. So I kind of chose 4 or 5 random ones just because they were like central and I could visit them easily on an open day. And Hertford was kind of the one I liked most, partly because it is right in the centre of the city and it's like you cross the road and you're at the Bodleian and you've got every book in the world just 30 seconds away, which is great. And also it's quite a friendly college and I think that's got quite a good reputation for that. And it's always been quite big on like admitting state school students. It's quite forward thinking compared to some of the or compared to how some colleges were in the past. And a couple of other small things. We have the Bridge of Sighs, which is one of the most famous parts of Oxford. And you know, it's quite cool to be able to walk over that all the time. And also, I just thought it was quite cool that it had a college cat called Simpkins, and you know, it's quite nice to have that kind of to have him walking around, I guess.
Yeah, it kind of makes it feel like a bit more like home.
Exactly. Yeah.
And what is your college accommodation like? Do you live in the same building as people in your year? What's your room like? Those kinds of things.
Yeah. So in first year, you always live on the college site. Normally in second or third year, you move out, so you're still in a college accommodation. It's just like 15 minutes down the road. And because you're always on site in first year, it's really easy to basically meet everybody. So all the first years live within a couple of minutes walk of each other, really, on two main quads. I was quite lucky because my room is really good. It's way bigger than what I expected. Or if people aren't so lucky, it's completely random in first year. I guess the good thing is that you all pay the exact same amount, which means that you know even though I got a good room, I wasn't paying more for it, which is just quite a good way of keeping things equal, I guess. I think the quality of rooms is pretty good, but it does vary. We don't have en suite, so you normally have to share a bathroom between, say, 4 or 5 people. But in practice, that's never a problem because even if the one closest to you within use, you could just go downstairs. You rarely have to wait or anything like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so do you get that for all 3 years?
Yes, you get a college accommodation for all 3 years. You just have to move your rooms in second and third year just a bit further out, but often that means that the rooms themselves are better and they often have better kitchen facilities. It just means that you have to walk an extra 10 minutes to get to the centre, but so many people like have a bike anyway, so it's not far.
Yeah, definitely. And so you say you're about a bike. Is there places to store your bikes in college? Like, do you take a bike up to Oxford?
So I don't ride a bike. Well, I'm not doing it this year because I kind of could walk everywhere in 5 minutes, but I think I might consider it next year when I'm a bit further out. And obviously, it's just a good way to keep fit and stuff. And so many students have them. They're literally like, I don't know, half of the college seems to be bikes sometimes, or like everywhere, and there's so many places to put them. And all the like college accommodation, which is a bit further out, usually have like a bike shed as well. And we also have like a bike repairman come around like once every 2 weeks, which is really useful and just like an easy way to fix a problem if you have one.
Yeah, definitely. So could you talk me through a typical day at Oxford for you? Like just a weekday, what would it consist of? What kind of pressures would you have? What social things would be going on? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so I guess on just like a normal day, I'd probably maybe have 1 or 2 contact hours, so teaching time, because as a humanities student, we don't have that much. Most of it's independent study. Sometimes scientists are like going to lecture at 9, and I'm still sleeping till 11 and stuff like that, because I don't have as many contact hours. So I might have a couple of classes or tutorials, maybe a lecture. And then normally I'll wake up and I'll just kind of use the morning and the afternoon as the time to do all my work. So normally I'll have an essay to write. A science student might have what's called a problem sheet to work through, and then normally things you do for your tutorials. And I tend to like to work in libraries. So at Hertford we have a library open 24/7 with quite a decent number of books that you need. Sometimes you'll need to go to the Bodley and the big university library, or maybe like a department library to find something, and they're also quite nice to work in as well. So I normally work kind of morning, afternoon time, so that I have my evenings free. So like about 6 o'clock, my friends and I always eat dinner together, like a social thing. So we go to the college hall, where there's normally pretty decent food. And then in the evenings, it kind of depends what night it is. Sometimes I might do something related to like a society or something, or often my friends and I would just go down to the bar. Might not necessarily even drink anything, it's just a place to hang out. And we have a common room where you can play like pool and table tennis. So yeah, I mean, if there was nothing else on, that's probably what we do. We just chill. But occasionally there'll be like a college event, like a BOP, which is basically kind of like a club night. Or that's how it works at Hertford. So like everyone in your college will go to a club, and there'll be music and drinks and just the opportunity to hang out with all the people you know.
You're saying that your college is very friendly and very inclusive. Are there systems of kind of welfare and well-being and things like that in place, that let's say you were struggling, that there was someone you could talk to, or events that are designed to kind of look after people's well-being, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, loads really. So there's like a few members of staff who are part of the welfare team, like a welfare coordinator. We also have a chaplain who kind of, even though that's like a religious role, you don't have to be a Christian to go to her. She also does like welfare teas where anyone can just come and talk, like completely non-religiously. And there's also like student peer supporters who are there to kind of just basically somebody to chat to, which I think is so important for welfare. And sometimes an Oxford degree can seem quite intense because there's lots of work to do. But just kind of talking about it, they'd be like the person to go to, I guess. And we have members of the JCR, which is kind of like the students who are elected to represent the student body. We have a couple of welfare reps who kind of organise welfare activities. So we have like a welfare week, which is in the 5th week of term usually. And some of the activities there just like include arts and crafts. Sometimes they just like bring a dog in because that makes people happy and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, there's always someone to talk to, and even like in every single Hertford room, there's this like chart they put up saying, if this is what you're feeling, this is who you should go to. The idea being that you cannot not know that somebody's there, and there should be loads of support from the college and the university.
Yeah. And you were saying about you eat in hall most evenings. Can you talk me through kind of what happens when you go to hall, what options there are, how much things cost, formal halls, if you have any of those?
Yes, so I mean, when people imagine eating in an Oxford hall, they always imagine people like wearing gowns and it being really formal. It's not like that 90% of the time. You can go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's kind of like a school canteen, really, just a lot fancier, I guess, because the food's a bit nicer, and you're in a really nice room. But other than that, it's completely informal. Some of the food at Hertford is quite good. And it's not too expensive. I mean, it's probably more expensive than cooking it yourself, but I still do it anyway for kind of the social side of things, and because I'm not particularly skilled in cooking as well. And yeah, we do also have formal hall, which happens, I mean, approximately once a week, which is where you can kind of get dressed up, and it costs a bit more to go. but you get like free courses, usually for less than a tenner, I think. But you know, that isn't really something that I'm that into, so I've only been to like one in a year. It's just, you know, I'm not really that fussed about it, so you definitely don't have to go. And it's really kind of simple system. When you eat at Hall, you just go and you have your pod card, which is like your university ID card, and you just scan it, pay maybe £3 or £4, and you've got a meal.
And you were talking about the kind of facilities like kitchens and things like that. Does your college have any other unique facilities, or maybe not even unique? Do you have sports facilities, theatre, chapel, gym, any of that kind of thing?
Yes, we're quite. We have a gym, and I guess the good thing about the gym is you don't have to pay for it. So there's no like hefty gym subscription you'll need if you go to Hertford and you want to exercise. So that's on the main site. We also have like a music room, which pretty much anyone can use if you play an instrument. We like share sports fields with other colleges, so they're not on the college; they're a bit further out. And then, yeah, like I've mentioned, we have a library. We also have a bar, which in the daytime is a cafe, and that's quite a social space, I guess. So you can just like before 7 o'clock, you can just go down and get a coffee or maybe some snacks. After 7, it opens the bar, and they serve you know, variety of drinks, alcoholic and non-alcoholic. Hertford had its own special like cocktail called Pango, but it's kind of got a secret recipe, so I don't really know what's in it, but it's quite a nice drink. And whenever we have like a big social event, people always get that. It's like just a thing to do.
Do you have any other kind of special social events in your year? Do you have any kind of bigger parties or balls or special like themed formals or anything like that?
Yeah, so a few things that come to mind are that once a term, last year we had a cocktails night, and it was basically just organised by first year. There wasn't like an official college thing, but people just thought it would be a really nice idea. So they went out and made all these cocktails, and had this huge choice. And people come and they just asked for like a donation of £5 to fund the drinks, and that just took place in our junior common room, which isn't too big, but I think like, I don't know, 30, 40, maybe 50 people attended. And it's a really good way, I guess, of kind of just getting everybody together, because, you know, obviously everybody does different subjects, hangs out with different people normally. There's I guess it's quite a nice community environment just to get everybody in first year together, and just maybe talk to people you wouldn't normally see that often. And also we have this thing called Jazz and Drinks. So there's quite a few like music societies at Hertford, including one which plays jazz. So we all kind of get together in the hall, and there's a jazz band at the front playing songs, and everybody else just kind of mingles and has like a selection of drinks to choose from, which we did that in Freshers Week, and that was probably like my favourite social event. And people tend to like get dressed up in a black tie and just kind of see where the night goes, really.
And talking of Freshers Week, was there a lot of college run things, or were you kind of left to find people in the college to make friends with yourself, or how was Freshers Week structured for you?
Yeah, I think that Freshers Week is usually run by a group of students who kind of did it last year and went through that themselves, so they know that it can be quite intimidating starting university, and it's I don't know, there's so many things to get used to, new people, new place, new things you're studying. So they do a lot to make sure that you're kept busy. So you actually, like, there were so many events, sometimes it felt you didn't actually have that much free time, which I think was quite a good thing, really, because you do want to get involved when you start off. So there were things like on our first day we had like a tie-dye your t-shirt, which, because you'll get given a Hertford Freshers t-shirt. And then we had this big meal completely free with our tutors, so you get to know them and meet them for the first time, and all your other students. and then we also had stuff like a pub quiz. Most nights there was a club night for people who wanted to do that. And I think that Freshers Week can seem quite overwhelming at times because you do meet so many people, and sometimes it's like you kind of meet them and you speak to them, but you're not really sure. They're not necessarily like your friends yet, and so it can seem a bit of a strange time. But often the people you meet in Freshers Week are the people who 3 or 4 weeks later you're really close to. So it's a good way to basically get to know everybody. Like I probably spoke to like 2/3 of all the students there and can still remember most of their names. So, because Hertford isn't too big, you get to know most people.
Yeah, definitely. Would you say there was interaction and kind of friendships and things like that between the first and second years? You were saying that there was a group of second years who ran Freshers Week for you or kind of organised things, but it can be quite daunting probably to speak to people who are older than you and have kind of been there for a year and have made all their friends already. So was there a system at college that could kind of give you the opportunity to get some advice from them and things like that?
Yeah, so at Hertford, and the same with quite a few other colleges, we have college parents. And the basic idea is that before you start, you're assigned 2 second years who are your college mum or dad, or college mum and mum, which is what I had. And they're basically 2 people who have college married, and they're basically there to kind of, I guess, welcome you into the college and answer any questions you might have. But so you like normally get in touch with them over social media or email before you go. So if there's anything that worrying you before you actually get there, there's somebody to ask. And obviously they're really supportive. And then in Freshers Week, you normally meet with them and have a chat about how things have gone, if you have any questions. So that's like one way of meeting people in other year groups. And it's really useful because they're people who you kind of can stay in touch with throughout your time at Oxford. And you also have like a college brother and sister who have the same parents, and that's just another way of meeting people. And I think that maybe in like my first term, I didn't really know any second or third years that well. But because you're in the same college and they, also go to the bar a lot or the JCR, you kind of get to know them. So there's the opportunity to maybe form friendships with people in the older year group, especially if they also do your subject, because they occasionally do like social events for, all historians in a college or all mathematicians in a college to give people the chance to get to know each other in other years.
You're talking about Hertford being, an inclusive college and a friendly college. Are there positions of responsibility within college that if you felt like you wanted to be a part of, running your college or having some say in how things were done or representing a group of students within college, how do the leadership positions work?
Yeah, so we have a JCR or Junior Common Room, which, as well as being an actual place that you can go to hang out, it's also like a kind of like a governing body kind of. So they're the president, a treasurer, a secretary, and they're all positions held by students. You just have to be voted in by your fellow students. So like every year there's an election for the president, and there's also some roles to kind of promote welfare, like the welfare reps to promote diversity inclusion. So we have like an equalities rep and a BME rep to make sure that those issues are like just basically ensure that we're looking out for the issues that affect those students specifically. And there's also an access rep who helps organise school tours from schools which don't necessarily send that many people to Oxford. And the access rep also kind of like, I guess, is there to kind of make sure that everybody feels included and doesn't feel that they don't fit in at Oxford. But I think at Hertford there's such a variety of people anyway that it doesn't just kind of conform to the Oxford stereotype. And it's not just like everybody there, went to a private school or is white. It's very far from the truth. And in general, no matter where you've come from, I think the thing that Hertford is really big on is making sure that it doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is that you're here now and that you'll be treated the same opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, just one last question. If you had a piece of advice for someone who was thinking about Oxford, but just in the early stages hadn't really decided on a college, was kind of feeling a bit overwhelmed by that decision making process, what would be your piece of advice for them?
Well, the thing is, like, some people spend ages thinking about a college, and then they'll end up being sent to another one when they apply, and they'll still think that their new college is the best one, and every single person you meet pretty much says that their college is the best. So I guess my advice would be, don't overthink it too much, because wherever you go, you'll probably be happy. So I'd say maybe just think about what's important to you in a college. Do you want to be, do you want to live in the centre? Do you want somewhere with lots of history? Do you want one with lots of green spaces? And then maybe narrow down the like huge choice to about 10 or 5. And then visit them on an open day if you can, or a virtual open day if things continue like this. And then read a bit about them and just get a sense for the place. And then that's kind of what I did, and it ended up working really well. So yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world which college you choose to go to, but I guess just think about what's important to you, and that would be the best advice I could give.
Sorry, no, you just froze a tiny bit at the beginning, at the end there.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. I think that's all I wanted to ask. So yeah, thank you very much.
Great, cool. Yeah, should we redo the bit that I froze on, or does it not matter?
Yeah, I think you recorded this one.
Sorry?
I think it's okay. Well, if we stop recording, down, because we need to go back, I think, onto the other call.
Yeah.
And then when we watch the video back, there's a glitch, then I guess we can, because I don't think these will actually be used as videos. I think we might write them up tomorrow. I think that's
Yeah, I think it's fine anyway. I mean, if we'd basically got like half an hour content anyway, so
yeah,
if we miss that bit out, it's not the end of the world.
All right, sweet. So if we hang up and join the main call, is that what we're supposed to do?
Yeah. Okay.